In the previous episode, the white tiger lunged at Li Shulai, its jaws wide open, ready to attack. Just as Li Shulai braced himself, the countdown reached 0, and Lin Shuhuan quickly deactivated the illusion array. The tiger vanished instantly, along with the simulated environment. Lin Shuhuan smiled and approached Li Shulai. "Congratulations on passing the trial," she said warmly. "You've exceeded my expectations. To be honest, I didn't think you could pass on your first attempt, but you surprised me. You truly are a cultivation genius." Exhausted, Li Shulai sighed in relief. "Fortunately, my determination to survive was strong enough. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made it." He looked at his master and asked curiously, "What would have happened if I had failed the trial?" Lin Shuhuan smirked and replied, "There's no punishment." She grabbed his wrist to check his pulse and thought to herself, "I told him it was a simulated environment with virtual monsters," yet his heart rate nearly reached 200. "My little disciple, you're trying way too hard." Hearing there was no penalty for failure, Li Shulai stood up in shock. "No punishment? You kicked me into the trial halfway through a conversation. Can't I at least afford to gamble with the stakes?" Lin Shuhuan chuckled at his outburst and said, "Relax. The important thing is that you passed. You're now qualified to begin practicing magic." She smiled and gestured for him to follow. "Come with me to Ningxian Pond. I'll teach you the foundational mental techniques for cultivation." Li Shulai was confused. "Read the classics? Can't I just go to the library?" Lin Shuhuan shook her head. "You're my disciple. There's no need to go through all that trouble. We have simpler methods of passing down knowledge." Moments later, they arrived at Ningxian Pond. "Take off your clothes," Lin Shuhuan instructed calmly. Li Shulai hesitated, but began removing his clothes. However, he froze in shock when he saw his master also removing her robes. Flustered, he stammered, "Master, are you taking off your clothes too?" Lin Shuhuan glanced at him nonchalantly. "Take your clothes off and get in. I'll transfer my secrets to you." Li Shulai felt his nose start to bleed as his mind spiraled into chaos. Nervously, he muttered, "Master, isn't this beyond the scope? This seems like dual cultivation. If that's what you want, how can I refuse? Aren't you afraid of wielding such power?" Lin Shuhuan sighed and corrected him. "It's not dual cultivation." Embarrassed, Li Shulai scratched his head. "Master always knows what I'm thinking." Realizing his nose was bleeding from his inner drama, he quickly wiped it away. He stripped down to his underwear and nervously said, "All right, let's go." Adjusting her glasses, Lin Shuhuan glanced at him. "Strip completely." Li Shulai stared at his remaining garment in disbelief. "Everything?" "Everything," Lin Shuhuan replied without hesitation. Blushing furiously, Li Shulai removed his underwear and quickly jumped into the pond. Lin Shuhuan followed, fully undressed, and entered the water with an air of calm. Li Shulai, his eyes squeezed shut, kept himself from looking. "Master, I promise I won't move or look." Lin Shuhuan's voice was serious yet gentle. "Just obey me and don't resist. If you do, you'll go crazy." He nodded nervously, his voice trembling. "Okay, master." She moved closer, wrapping her arms tightly around him. Li Shulai's heart raced, and his embarrassment grew. "Isn't this dual cultivation?" he thought, trying to distract himself. "I'm not some naive boy. Is this really necessary for transferring Qigong?" As their eyes met, his face burned with embarrassment, his heart rate climbing even higher. Lin Shuhuan, focused and unbothered, commanded him, "Don't move! I'm not moving!" Li Shulai blurted out, flustered. Smirking, Lin Shuhuan teased him, grabbing his shoulder lightly. "Don't move your body," she said with a playful tone, leaving him utterly flustered. Lin Shuhuan's voice carried a calm authority as she instructed, "Focus your eyes and listen to my whisper." This method originates from the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, integrating yin, yang, and the 5 elements. It is the key to the path of cultivating immortals. You must have a mind as still as water, and a will as solid as rock. Only then can you comprehend the profound meaning. The mind method is the foundation of inner strength. It must be transformed from within and become part of your being. I am now passing on my secrets to you. Remember every detail and do not make the slightest mistake. The key to building a foundation lies in following nature, obeying the will of heaven, and understanding the breath of life. As Li Shulai followed her guidance, his body became surrounded by energy and cultivation qi. He slowly opened his eyes, feeling an overwhelming sense of awe. Is this the realm of cultivating immortals? He wondered. He found himself floating in the sky, the entire world stretching out before him. Everything, the mountains, rivers, and the vast expanse of the universe, felt within his grasp. Overwhelmed by the beauty and tranquility, Li Shulai landed gently on the ground, absorbing the natural energy surrounding him. A serene smile crossed his face as he thought, I've seen it all, the universe. I want to explore the sea of stars. But suddenly, a voice interrupted his reverie. Wake up, quickly! Startled, Li Shulai opened his eyes and found himself back at Ningxian Pond. Everything he had just experienced was an illusion. He turned to his master, who was getting dressed, and asked, Where did I go just now? Lin Shuhuan replied matter-of-factly, You didn't go anywhere. During the foundation building stage, all you need to do is comprehend the mental method I've taught you. Once you master it, you can practice on your own. When your foundation is fully established, I'll teach you new techniques, and you'll begin the next stage of cultivation. If you encounter any difficulties, you can always come to me for guidance. Li Shulai nodded, accepting her words. He quickly got dressed and prepared to leave. As he stepped away, he saw Xiao Ning approaching. Their eyes met, and Xiao Ning asked curiously, What are you doing here? Before he could answer, she noticed the significant improvement in his cultivation. Congratulations on entering the foundation building realm, she said, though her voice carried a hint of frustration. His true energy is more turbulent than before, she thought, clenching her fists. She couldn't help but feel bitter. I'm still stuck in the same place. Li Shulai noticed her frustration and said gently, Don't worry. I'll find a way to help you improve. Other than dual cultivation, of course. Xiao Ning shook her head. There's no need to trouble yourself. Thank you for thinking of me. She hesitated, before adding, I actually came here to find my master, Grandma Lin. Without waiting for a response, she walked away toward Lin Shuhuan. Watching her leave, Li Shulai thought to himself, She hasn't mentioned her cultivation struggles to me again. Perhaps she's truly let go of it. Later that evening, Li Shulai sat at his desk, connecting his laptop to the internet. After some tinkering, he downloaded the QQ app and added Liao Kexen's number, sending her a friend request. Moments later, she approved his request. Excited, Li Shulai quickly typed a message. How have you been lately? Are you okay? Liao Kexen replied, I recently moved from Hangzhou to Sangxi, changed my phone number, and cut off contact with my family. Now I'm fully focused on my writing. What about you? Li Shulai smiled as he typed back, I'm doing well too, practicing cultivation and doing homework every day. Her response came with a laugh. Are you trying to make me laugh? You're so funny. Smiling, he replied, When I finish my seclusion, I'll come to visit you and treat you to a meal. She laughed again. All right, I'll hold you to that. Although her words were light-hearted, Li Shulai sensed she didn't entirely believe him. Still, he resolved to stay truthful, no matter what. I can't lie to my idol. Curious? He asked. Anything new happening lately? As he waited for her reply, another QQ account caught his attention. Light Raindrops. Intrigued, he clicked on the profile and read its bio. The chaos in my heart cannot bear too much noise from fake masks. Dancing alone on the edge of the world, listening to the wind, counting the stars, looking for that touch of color that is not ordinary. Li Shulai paused, admiring the poetic words. This person's state of mind has a unique charm, perfectly embodying the spirit of this era. Smiling, he thought, in this modern age, building a network of relationships is a trend. Perhaps I should join in and expand my connections. Li Shulai received a message from an account named Light Raindrops, asking, Have you been busy lately? I couldn't reach you before. Confused, Li Shulai wondered who this could be. The account continued, I recently found a library with a huge collection of books, a beautiful environment, and a great location. When can we go there together? After a brief conversation, Li Shulai realized, Light Raindrops? Isn't that Wei Yu? He noted how online usernames often reflected a part of the user's identity. Wei Yu may be socially anxious in real life, but she's quite talkative online, he thought. Li Shulai replied, I've been undergoing induction training recently. It's a private program, and I signed a confidentiality agreement. Luckily, today's a day off, so I finally have time to browse the internet. Wei Yu responded enthusiastically, Ah, I see. You've been working hard. I'll have to push myself to keep up. Please let me know when your training is over. After chatting for some time, Li Shulai bid her goodbye and returned to his rigorous training regimen. He spent his days climbing hills with buckets of water on his back and meditating under waterfalls to build his muscle power and endurance. 2 months later, after completing his training routine, Li Shulai approached his master, Lin Shuhuan, to assess his progress. Without hesitation, Lin Shuhuan launched a sudden attack with her qi energy. Startled, Li Shulai exclaimed, "Master, are you serious?" Smiling, Lin Shuhuan replied, "How else can we test the results of your training? Don't worry, you can barely dodge it now, but you'll improve with practice." Motivated by her words, Li Shulai dedicated himself to further training. After another 2 months, his hard work began to show impressive results. He had reached the late stage of foundation building. With this progress, achieving the Jindan stage seemed within reach. Taking a short break, Li Shulai pulled out his laptop to check the latest news. Smiling, he thought, "Am I now Lao Yang's #1 advisor?" As expected, he followed my suggestion and started preparing his logistics team. I wonder if I'll still be called Rookie Pai Pai in this life. He reflected on his past advice and its impact, thinking about Lu Daxi's rapid physical improvements and growing popularity. They'll hit a bottleneck soon, but everything outside is developing as planned. For now, I'll let them run free without interference. One thing still nagged at Li Shulai. There had been no updates from Lin Yanhong of Qiandu. Why hasn't he responded? I gave him the CD. Could it be that the front desk dismissed it and never handed it to him? A few months earlier, at Qiandu, the front desk staff had handed the CD to Mr. Lin, saying, "Someone asked me to ensure this reaches you personally. He said that once you watch it, you'll understand what he means." Intrigued, Mr. Lin asked, "Who gave it to you?" The receptionist replied, "A senior student. He seemed ambitious and energetic." Smiling, Mr. Lin commented, "The young truly are formidable." He instructed the receptionist to return to her duties and place the CD on his desk before heading into a meeting. In the meeting room, Mr. Lin addressed his team. The rapid development of the internet is an unstoppable trend. It will soon become a key channel for filtering information. Search engines, as a traffic gateway, will play a vital role in shaping this future. Our slogan, "When in doubt, ask 1,000 questions," must become a household phrase. Qiandu will focus on making the search engine a cornerstone of internet use over the next 5 years. The upcoming internet war will require Feilong technology and others to rely on Qiandu as a traffic portal to attract new customers. Our commercial value is immeasurable. The employees erupted into cheers, clapping enthusiastically to show their support for Mr. Lin's determination. With unwavering confidence, Mr. Lin declared, "We aim to become the new leader of the internet. From now on, Feilong technology will be nothing more than Qiandu's little brother." The room roared with applause and chants of, "We'll work hard to make Qiandu great." However, the CD that Li Shulai had handed Mr. Lin lay forgotten in a corner of his office, gathering dust. Meanwhile, Li Shulai continued his cultivation, showing noticeable improvements. He began practicing sword techniques, fencing, magic, and cultural studies. Within 6 months, he had reached the late stage of foundation building and achieved near perfection in his skills. Lin Shuhuan, observing his rapid progress, smiled with pride. "You are truly talented and hardworking," she remarked. Li Shulai bowed respectfully. "Thank you, Master, for your guidance and encouragement." Lin Shuhuan's tone turned serious. "Prepare for the next trial. Only after passing this stage can you advance to the Dan stage. Many cultivators have a smooth journey in the beginning, but get stuck at the late stage of foundation building, unable to progress for a lifetime. You must not let this happen to you." "I understand, Master," Li Shulai replied with determination. "I won't slack off." She explained the trial further. "This trial is similar to the last one. It takes place in a simulated environment. While there is no risk of physical harm, you'll need to push your limits to succeed." Li Shulai nodded, but couldn't help feeling uneasy. What exactly is a simulated environment? He wondered. It feels too real to be an illusion. He then hesitated and asked, "Have you heard anything about Xiao Ning? I haven't seen her in a long time. She wouldn't give up, would she?" Lin Shuhuan smiled knowingly. She has decided to focus on becoming a physical trainee and has been busy preparing for her postgraduate entrance exams. Breaking away from distractions has made her much more focused, she added thoughtfully. After her breakup, Xiao Ning seems much more clear-headed. It's true, relationships can hinder progress. Lin Shuhuan turned back to Li Shulai and said, "This trial will take a significant amount of time. If you have unfinished matters, resolve them first." Li Shulai bowed again. "External matters are not as important as my cultivation. I'll prepare immediately." As Li Shulai walked back to his room to pack, he noticed Xiao Ning sitting in the garden, deeply focused on her studies. She muttered to herself, how can the answer to this question be C? Li Shulai observed her quietly and thought, it seems there's no need for a farewell. I won't disturb her. 3 days later, Li Shulai arrived at the trial grounds. To his surprise, he discovered that he wouldn't be facing the trial alone. A booming announcement echoed, the simulated environment is loading. The mimetic gate is about to open. As the gate opened, the participants found themselves aboard a boat on the vast sea. Lin Shuhuan appeared among them, much to the crowd's astonishment. Look, it's Senior Lin, someone exclaimed. I can't believe I'm seeing such a powerful cultivator in person. She's so young and beautiful, another added. It's said that Senior Lin is one of the few who can open trial copies and help cultivators break through in simulated environments. She's really selfless, someone else remarked. An older cultivator nearby smiled and said, as her disciple, I'd be proud. Unfortunately, she doesn't accept disciples. That's not true, another interjected. I heard she has accepted a disciple recently. Li Shulai overheard the conversation and thought proudly, Master is so well known. Lin Shuhuan addressed the participants. The destination of this trial is an isolated island. You must survive there for a week to pass. If you're attacked by monsters, lose too much blood in battle, or suffer a fatal attack, you'll be teleported out, and the trial will be considered a failure. The crowd began to murmur. Although it sounds dangerous, it's good that there's no real risk to our lives. These trials are becoming more humane, another added. But what if something unexpected happens? Can we guarantee our safety? A seasoned participant reassured them. These trials have been conducted countless times. I've never heard of issues occurring below the Jindan stage. Lin Shuhuan turned to her disciple. Li Shulai, the rest is up to you. She left the area, leaving him to face the challenge. Li Shulai clenched his fists and smiled confidently. As her only disciple among this crowd, I must bring honor to my master. I cannot fail.